Ladies and gentlemen, saints and sinners. Now you know the Wicked House and the Rum and Bone Show support small businesses in the community, which is why I'm going to tell you a little bit about a good friend of ours, Sister Raven, over at Spirit Raven Creations. She's a Reiki master, aromatherapist, and spiritual worker with decades of experience. And at Spirit Raven Creations, she provides a wide array of spiritual products and services, from handcrafted anointing oils, herbal powders, and curios to psychic readings, ritual work, and Reiki services. You can find Sister Raven and all her wonderful creations online at sisterraven.wixsite.com. That's sisterraven.wixsite.com, or on Facebook at Spirit Raven Creations. And if you want some extra gravy with them fixins, tell the good sister Doc sent you and use promo code RumandBones10 at checkout to get 10% off your entire purchase. That's promo code RumandBones10 at checkout. Now go on and show Sister Raven at Spirit Raven Creations some wicked love. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and sinners, welcome to another episode of the Rum and Bones Show. I'm sitting down tonight with our brother from the Grey Hedge, John Spietaels. You know him, you love him, and he's here to chuck it up with Doc. Raise a glass and put an ass in the seat. Let's get to it.
Yeah.
So it has been a minute since we've spoken, brother. You know you're one of my favorite people. So, you know, Grey Hedge, you've grown so much over the course of the years that I've known you.
Oh yeah.
I love your work. I love your craftsmanship. You know, you're the craftsman from the north. Like, everything you make is amazing. Yeah. It's got not only the physical skills, the physical craftsmanship, but the spiritual energy that you put into your work is top notch. Like,
oh yeah.
There's no comparison, you know. But you know, everything you make, I mean, from your scrying, your black mirrors, to your wands, to your runes, I mean, your poppets, you know, I mean, I know you touch on the conjure side of things, the folk side of things, as well as, you know, other traditions and other styles and other methods. You bring a level of intricacy and spirit to everything that you do. I mean, as much as I play coy about it and wink wink nod, there has to be something said about a man that's willing to create an oil that's so goddamn expensive that he'll never make a profit off of it, but he makes it because he knows he can.
You mean the gold? You're talking about the platinum one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a. Yeah, that one's a. But hey, you know.
That's
platinum,
like a
gold.
30-year-old scotch, you know.
Yeah. Well, an oil is a spell, right? It's a spell that's inside of a medium.
For sure.
So you just, once you know how to weave a spell, and you have to actually weave the spell, not just throw a bunch of stuff in and follow a recipe, because that ain't gonna get you shit. That's gonna get you a herbed oil with some stuff in it. But once you know how to weave a spell, then you can use pretty much anything, and you can look at the principles of it, the metaphysics, the nature of it, its signature, and you can use that, and you can combine them together.
Mm-hmm.
So like the platinum one, that one is, aside from the main basic archetype that everybody thinks of, is like, oh, he's got a platinum card, oh, that's platinum, oh, and all that. It's not the most expensive metal, but it carries that exclusivity that that's been given to it from all the faith and all the belief from everybody else. Platinum's also a very strong energy enhancer. So when you add it with something else, you really boost it up, because platinum's a cosmic energy. So inside that oil, there's also gold.
Well, and that's the other thing, is that people don't, I mean, from a conscious perspective, when you talk about, you know, gold, platinum, copper, you know, we look at these things like, yeah, one, you have the luxurious side of it. You have the cost and the value and the material or mundane value of the metal. But at the same time, it's the conductivity. It's its ability to transfer, conduct, and focus energy.
Yeah, it's the conductor. It carries all the properties of the well, we look at the way that is the archetype that people give it, the symbol that they give it in society. We take that as one part of it, and then we take the other part of all the metaphysicals of it and all the effects and such, and then we see how it connects with the rest and how it can boost those or modify them.
For sure.
That's basically it. Do you need something like that? Not really, but you know.
Well, I mean, it depends.
Yeah.
I mean, there are, like, for example, there's a reason gold is valued the way it is.
Yes.
You know, even outside, and I mean, you can get into politics of it, even outside the market manipulation and shit that we do as humans. There's a reason it was valued, even amongst indigenous tribes that didn't have a concept of money the same way we do.
Yes,
it was valued because it doesn't tarnish. And because they could tell that it could conduct energy. They may not have known about electricity or energy transference in the same way we do with modern science.
Yeah.
But they knew that something could happen.
There's the two kinds of energies, right? There's the energy that we use every day, like that works our lights that we talk about, the science knows about. And then there's the counterpart, which is the metaphysical that they can't really prove, but they still kind of a little bit. Like when you get down to the quantum theory and the quantum physics, then they start noticing how those things start to make sense. Like the double blind test, you know, when they discovered that when the scientist was making an observation, what he wanted in quantum theory, that happened. That's why we have double blind studies now. Why all the tests are double blind, because no one knows, they can't fix that.
For sure.
Yeah. So it comes out through that way, but it's still not quite there, but yeah.
Well, I mean, we're still growing. We're still learning.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you take a cell phone and transport it 1,000 years in the past, it's going to be the center of witchcraft and probably the start of a new religion, you know, instantaneously.
Yeah. And the person will probably be, you know, tortured, killed, and whatever, because you're a witch. Oh, you got somebody trapped in there. It's like, no.
You know, capturing their soul one meme at a time.
Yeah. That's what they used to think. That's what they used to think about when pictures first came out, that they'd capture your soul.
That's it. And that actually, you know, I mean, not to go off on a tangent, but when it comes to the modern age of witchcraft and conjure and on the internet age and social media and all that, taking pictures and dogs. If it ain't the kids, it's the dogs. But anyway, you know, that was a thing. You know, when it was a new technology, people believed that, you know, the photograph had power, that it could capture the soul, that it could capture things. I mean, you see it nowadays. People take pictures and capture spirits and orbs and all of that. Like, you know, a picture's worth 1,000 words. You know, it has substance, it has power, it's capturing a moment, it's capturing an energy in real time.
Yes. And those last. They can outlast the person, because we've all known occult people that are gone, but their voice is still on the video. They're not.
For sure.
There's I think it's 7 pieces of a soul. and that is one of the pieces that is maintained. So as long as that's there, piece of them is still here.
Now, explain that. You said 7 pieces of a soul.
I don't know
What
all
do you
the
mean by that?
pieces. There's the imprint of what you do. So when you see a ghost, haunting a place, and they seem to walk through walls, and they seem to float. If you
Mm-hmm.
go back in the history of the building, that wall used to be a doorway,
Mm-hmm.
and it'd be the path that person walked. So often they left an imprint. That's one piece. Another piece is the memory that you leave inside of everybody. They carry a piece of you in them as long as they're alive. I believe that's also known as the living dead, because as long as that person that remembers that other one whole is still alive, they hold piece of them with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the other ones like your influence. That's another piece. Your name, your brand, your uh, they don't want to throw out names, but if somebody's there and they have a brand and you know them, or like an author or something, and they're gone, piece of them is still there in their book or their video. That's another piece of them. There's oh, I can't remember all the pieces.
Take
There's
your
7 in
time.
total. Yeah. But as long as those pieces there, there's a piece of them here. It's just the vessel that goes. And well, there's one piece that goes as well. It's the part that animates the vessel. There's the vessel, there's the mental part, the I guess you could call it the soul, and then there's the
Mm-hmm.
spirit, which the
The
spirit goes back to
consciousness.
the divine. Yeah, see all the different pieces. There were 7.
So you are the wand man.
Yeah,
You got
that's
a
a nice
lot of
way to put it.
you got a lot of wood, brother.
That's what she said. Yeah.
Now, those who frequent your shop, and those, the fans and the repeat customers, know that you're pretty much the man to go to when it comes to wands, when it comes
Yeah.
to understanding wands, selecting wands, getting them crafted. You do custom orders, you do, I mean, anything and everything. You're literally pulled out of a Harry Potter book. Forgive me for using that reference.
I've been called Ollivander.
But you're literally the guy when it comes to that. So I have to ask, when it comes to how you select your raw materials, how you select the raw woods and the correspondences, like, what is your process when it comes to that?
Well, when I go into the wood store, it's kind of like a kid in a candy store with $100 bill.
Yep.
That basket fills up pretty fast until it's hard to carry, so you just drag it behind you. The properties are, you look through it, you can do a lot of research to find the properties, and I mean, there's a lot of research, and it's mind numbing and repetitive. You get lost, and you kind of drool a little bit when you're reading it, just like, and you just yeah. But after you get the properties, you can also feel it in the wood. Or yeah. When you get that feeling up and you can start to feel stuff, and then you start feeling it in the wood. Oh yeah, that's
Well,
or in the herb.
that brings me to I mean, as a wand connoisseur and creator, you deal with a lot of mediums, you deal with a lot of, you deal with a lot of different types of wood, you deal with a lot of different spirits. But
Yeah.
for someone who doesn't know shit about wands, who doesn't know what woods are sacred, that
The,
doesn't
the
know
first
the
thing that
properties.
the first thing you want to do is you want to learn how to feel and project through it. That's the main thing, and that's not what's covered very often. And pretty much everyone that's ever picked up something, oh, I know how to use it, and then you show them how, it's like, and their jaw hits the ground, their eyes bug out. They're like, And it should be like, there's a reason why a wand is a tool, because a wand helps, well, it teaches and helps you develop the ability to project your intent and your focus, your energy in a directed spot, which is something that's not really taught. Like, no, like, how many times have you come across anyone that says, oh, this is how you direct your intent, or this is how you focus? It's like, no, just focus. And it's like you're supposed to know how to do that.
Mhm.
It's not taught, and it's not something that everybody knows, but they should be. It should be like the first lesson that you're taught,
Mhm.
because once you can focus, then you can use pretty much anything, and whatever you do becomes so much more stronger and more effective. And then you get to the point where you no longer need the wand, and you can just use whatever. Like, you can pick up a pencil, and you know the difference between whether or not it'll work with a pencil, and why it won't work with a pen,
Mhm.
because you'll feel it. You'll also know
Absolutely.
why you'll also know why I absolutely hate that. Oh, I only pick up sticks that were dropped and I use them. Once you use that and you connect with it and you try and use it, I've seen people, as soon as they do that and they pick up one, they immediately throw it down faster than if they picked up a human leg bone
Mhm.
and have used a
Well,
human leg bone.
well, I mean,
Because
there's a whole lot of, I mean, depending on what
there's,
tradition you want to grab onto when it
yeah,
comes to making wands. The
it
I
takes a
guess
lot to wake up some of the things that people use in their traditions. If you don't wake it up, then it feels, there's dead, and then there's dead.
Mhm.
And if it's not woke up, it's dead. So you can feel it when you start pushing energy through it. It just feels like there's nothing. It's like a void. It's,
It's
yeah,
compost.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you wake it up though, then you have something a lot better,
Mhm.
which is,
Now, on that fact, I mean, with your wands, like for example, in certain traditions, like you mentioned, there are certain traditions where you never cut or take from a tree. You
yeah,
you you find it or you pick it up,
yeah,
or that side of things. And then you have some traditions where
you have to take.
you have to take.
Yeah,
Like it's part of the process to
yeah,
take.
yeah,
You have to earn it in some ways.
yeah.
You know,
Earn it, pay for it, be granted it. The
especially when it comes to the thornier branches.
oh
And
yeah, you earn those. You definitely earn those when you take.
you
Wear gloves.
you bleed for it a little bit.
Oh yeah. And if you bleed on it, then you can't sell it. That's yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And you don't let it go somewhere. You don't let anyone or anything get a hold of it, because that's directly connected to you. That's
yeah, it's an
your
extension of your body. I mean, it's
yeah,
it's you know
yeah,
kind of like the samurai and the sword. It's an extension of yourself.
yeah.
It is another appendage.
Oh yeah.
Now, for the newbie that doesn't know any fucking better, and yeah, this channel's not for children.
No.
But for the newbie that doesn't know any better, let's say they're walking into your shop, right? Let's say they're walking in and they want a wand. They need a
Yeah.
wand and they're trying to select one. What is your advice to them?
Well, when this happens quite often at shows. When I do events and stuff, I see people walk up, and it's kind of fun to watch. It's actually really pleasurable, because you watch them walk up and they're like, "Oh, look at all this," and then bang, right there, that they pick up and it's like, "Oh, this is great," and then they sit down, and I shuffle them, I move them around, because then I'm watching to see, and they look around at their other person, they reach out, then they look back, and they immediately reach out and pick the exact same one up, and they do it over and over and over again, or they don't let it go. They cling to it like yeah, they just I've seen one person pick up a wand, and she white knuckled it. She wouldn't let go. She's like, "This is mine. I don't care the price." I'm like, "Okay, well, it's this much." And she's like, "Okay." I'm like, You have to set it down to get your wallet. She made her husband go into her purse and pay for it. She wouldn't let go of it, and she
Good
like
woman.
the whole time. And they're like, she made him go in her purse in the baby buggy to pull out all this because she wouldn't let go of it. So yeah, that one's definitely hers. But that's the fun part of watching, because sometimes it works like that. Other times you watch them and you move it, and then they keep coming back and they keep circling back. Like they go around, they explore over on that side, and then they explore over there, and they come back and they pick up the same one. And they can tell if I've moved it or if I've taken it off the table, because like, and because I can make ones that look exactly the same out of the same wood, but
Oh yeah.
if it's the right one, they walk up and they look and they're like, "Where is it?"
I mean, from a cursory glance, I mean, white oak and white pine, you know, if you don't know,
Yeah. Oh,
they
white oak
can
has ones that look similar. Yeah,
yeah.
that are they're hard to see the difference, but you can feel it.
Oh yeah, for sure. But
And
that's
when
a
you
test. I mean,
yeah,
that's what separates the wheat from the chaff, so to speak.
yes.
No.
And I try at shows, I've been known to stop working and teach someone how to use a wand, and it takes like 5 minutes. And you can see them, and they change, and they're like, wow. And as soon as they feel it, like their eyes open up and their jaw drops down, and then they're fucking pointing at everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, I damn near lost an eye a couple of times, an ear. Yeah, but then I watch them walk around, and if they don't buy the one that they were looking at, I watch them walk around, and this is where it gets fun, because then they pick up the other people's ones and they start doing the same thing, and then you get to watch and you go like, yeah, 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 and it's fun to watch them, because sometimes people don't wake up the energy of the wand, so they pick them up and like, the fuck is, and then they sit down and like they look back at me and like, what, and then they go to the next one, and I'm just sitting over there laughing my ass off. Then they come back and like, how come yours is different? I'm like, no, 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 you went over there. You go. And I mess with them a little bit because it's my fun, and I can.
For sure.
But it's, I'm not there just to sell something or anything. It's I want to see that. I like watching that glow when people realize, oh my God, I can feel through this thing.
Mhm.
It's not just like a stick you wave around and go like ever, ever, or whatever.
Well, you said
It,
it. You said it
yeah,
right there, because it's not just
no,
going to a hardware store and buying a hammer.
yeah,
You're adopting and connecting
yeah,
with the spirit,
yes,
and it is adopting and connecting with you in the
yeah,
same transference. You
yeah.
know, any
And I love
asshole
watching.
can go and buy a hammer,
Yeah.
you know, but when you select a wand, and really you can apply it to any spiritual tool, whether it's a
Or you
wand or
can use it.
athame or
Yeah.
uh, mortar and pedestal, you know,
Yeah.
you're making that connection. This is your wand, you
Yeah.
know, and that's the
Yeah.
experience that you specifically. And I sell wands.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm curious now. I want to see some of yours. Show me your one.
Well, I mean, brother, if you
Yeah,
really
edit that out. Just edit that out. Yeah.
Jimmy
Yeah. Oh, I
Green.
know all kinds of people will be laughing at that, and we'll be tuning in, and like your views will go up like, ooh.
But I mean, it comes down to it. I mean, you I mean, you can get a wand anywhere. You
Yeah.
can Google wands and you'll get everything
Oh yeah.
from House Slytherin to some wire wrapped monstrosity, on Etsy. You know what I'm saying? Can you hear
Yeah.
it? Can you hear it now?
I sorry, I'm still cringing about some of the other things I've seen. when you said
Anyway,
some, I the
you
things you
know,
gotta remember is a wand should point straight. I've seen ones where for some reason they have like this dream catcher kind of apparatus on the end of it. It's like, how is that supposed to
I'm
focus
actually
anything?
I'm kind of in the middle ground there, and this is kind of where me and you differ. Is that I believe in both. Like for example, the wands you create, which are, and you should grab one because people need to see your craftsmanship.
Hey, I need a wand.
But I am,
Okay, straight.
on the one hand, supportive of the person that is walking through the woods or whatever the case
Oh yeah,
is, and finds a branch or finds, and something calls them, and and all that, and they take that and they take it home, and
yeah.
maybe it's not straight, maybe it's not lay formed, maybe it's
Physically,
whatever, and they work
physically
on
they
it,
don't
and
have to point straight.
yeah,
It doesn't have to point straight. Energetically, it does. Depending on how you are. Like if when you point, if you point up like this, your wand should correct. So like if you
mhm.
point at something and you're pointing straight across and your fingers up like this, your wand should correct it and angle it down.
Well,
Like
that's what I was going to say
yeah,
is that when you're done with it, whether you're someone like yourself that creates them professionally with intention, or
yeah.
whether you're someone that finds them on the forest floor during a
Finding
walkabout.
them, finding them is good too, but you have to awaken it.
Yeah,
Otherwise it's a dead piece because it's like if you cut your fingernails, it's like it
yeah,
doesn't have
yeah,
any point.
and it needs to have a focal point. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just see that's a beautiful piece. Now, what type of wood is that?
This one's ebony.
You motherfucker, you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Here's another one. And this one's kingwood.
Mm, that's sexy.
This this used to be a wood that was only available for kings. It
Hmm.
cost so much and it was so rare
They've
that
made
only
thrones out of it.
yeah,
It's one of the reasons why it's called Kingswood.
yeah. Yeah, I made a wand out of it. And when you cast with this, when you put your energy through this, you can kind of feel things bow down.
Hmm.
And it's fun
Very
stuff
good for crown of success work. Very good for domination work. Very good for
for a
a lot
lot.
of things.
Yeah.
Um, it's a good choice if you're getting your first wand, and
Oh, your first one, a really good one would be like maple because maple is a sweet wood, but the wood is really good. The wood that the wand that I teach people how to use them with at shows is a maple wand. And
mhm.
I've had people ask me, "Oh, can I buy this?" And it's like, no, no, because this one it's been named, and it almost everyone, about 99% of the people that I've put in their hand has learned how to use a wand in that 5 minutes.
Show me one of your wands again.
How about the nice ebony that you like?
Now, what a lot of people don't realize is that looks sleek. That looks machined. That looks like someone put it into a machine and pressed and created that wand.
If you look carefully right here as I turn it, you'll see that it's not turned. That line wobbles,
Hmm.
which if you turn it on a lathe, it would not wobble. It would be
And
perfectly straight.
that is
They're done by hand. I've gotten
exactly the point I wanted to bring up. Is
yeah,
that all of your wands are handcrafted. They
yeah.
are hand sanded, they are hand carved, they are hand worked. There is no machinery involved.
Belt sander, belt sander to do the rough parts, and uh, bandsaw to cut it.
Your wands are beautiful. I mean, they're top notch. I can't praise you enough on that note. Let's talk about your runes.
Here's a set of purple heart that's not coated yet. Where's my camera? wrong way. Nice and purple. Oh. There, that's the right way. Those purple heart doesn't turn purple when right off. It's brown, kind of this cruddy, garbage looking brown. You have to let it get sunburn. I'm working on ebony ones. I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try and put gold inlay on them.
Yeah, you had to throw that out there, didn't you?
Well, yeah, obviously, yeah. Because you know that black wood with that gold resin inlay. Because I have to do it with resin because no one's gonna afford it if it's real gold.
The interesting thing, and one of the things that I like to express to people when I talk about your products and I point them towards you is the time and care you put into selecting the materials that
Oh
you
yeah,
do. Like you really go above and beyond when
it's
I mean, you make sure shit's ethically sourced. You make sure shit is in the rawest form, and you
yeah,
turn literally the roots of the earth into art.
yeah. It's some things you can use stuff that's not really ethically sourced, like like when people harvest wood, they don't go in there and they don't like ask the forest for its help. They just go in and cut the tree.
Mhm.
You can see that in the wood when you get it, and you can feel it because the wood it's depressed and it's sad and it's trying to pull in, and it's it's like someone that's been beaten and they're stuck in a corner and they're trying to hide, and they're
It's
like, I'm here,
PSTD.
but yeah,
It's
when you
trauma.
yeah, when you reawaken it and you put the care and the love into it and the focus, and you're in the proper state of mind for it, you can watch it turn from a dull piece into this bright, glorious, magnificent thing that you don't want to give up yourself.
But I originally opened up a shop on Etsy. I was making traditional Rowan wood runes, and nobody had any idea
No.
what Rowan wood was, what its significant was, what its significance was, what they wanted runes in amethyst.
They want rune stones, and it's like, rune stones. That part came from video games. The original runes are made out of wood.
Yeah, yeah.
Like my original set that I made with my first teacher way 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 back just happens to be right here, and they're made out of cherry because
Mhm.
it looks pretty.
Very nice.
But yeah. Oh shit! Don't fucking drop
I mean,
those.
every wood carries its own natural spirit.
When I was taught that the best ones are made out of a fruit bearing tree, which kind of makes sense considering he was hanging from Yggdrasil to pick them up, and Yggdrasil's a fruit bearing tree.
Not just the world tree, but I mean, when it comes to Rowan and it comes to certain trees that are associated with that,
Yeah,
it is the growth. It is, how do I put this? The divine feminine that comes out, the fertility, the growth,
yeah,
the giving birth, the duality,
yeah.
if you will.
Oh, that duality. People like to skip some of that duality.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah, they do. There was spiritual significance behind. I mean,
yeah,
there was a point in time where getting a set of Rowan wood or yew wood runes was a rite of passage.
yeah,
Like that was, like getting the sacrament in Catholic Church, or getting that year and a day in Wicca. That was a rite of passage. That was something that was
yeah,
handed down in the tradition from family to family. You
yeah,
know, and people didn't understand that. Of course, now, I mean, because of people like yourself who are teaching the properties and the history and the lore behind the raw materials, behind the wood, the spirit that comes through the earth into the root and into the tree and into the fruit and into the tool.
Yeah. One thing I learned is there's a lot to do with the proper state of mind, and people don't hold to that.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel it when you pick it up. So when you pick up something and the person was just thinking, oh, I gotta make money. I'm doing this just to make money. You can feel it. And if you're trying to sell it and you're in that state of mind, you can see that the people just pick it up, set back down, and walk away.
Yep.
And that it's
Right.
when you see somebody and they pick you up and they feel it and they go like, oh my God. Or they send you a message on your shop and they're like, how the hell did you get so much love and energy in this? It's like, because that's what I focused on. If I felt like anything else, no. If I was gonna do a curse and like an anti-money spell, then I'd worry about money while I was making it.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's you have to hold that proper state of mind while you're doing. Because of what, just like anything, when you're making it, if you're not in that state, you're weaving that into it.
Let's discuss your black mirrors.
I don't have one.
Because and I bring this up simply because one of the reasons that, and I still have to get one myself, and I plan to.
Oh, I'm gonna make a nice one.
But one of the reasons why I bring this up is because you're one of the few people that make them without letting sunlight touch them.
Yeah,
And that's an important factor.
that is very important. That's pretty much one of the most important things that there is with that mirror. With the black mirror, no sunlight. It's all the material has to be purged of sunlight because it burns them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now,
It burns them out.
why is that so? Explain that a little bit. Give some background on that.
It's a tool of the night. And a tool of the night is aligned to all things in the dark, in the night, devoid of light. It's a portal into the spirit realm, and into the dark, into the ether. And it's not exactly a light room. You don't see like bright light. Uh, you see people when they do most of their divination. It's in a room without sunlight. I don't know if they do it instinctively, but that's mostly to help with it, I guess you'd say.
Mhm.
With the mirrors, the things that are on the other side, they don't get the bright light that we have here. So when you expose it to sunlight, it burns. It's
Well,
like being hit by fire.
mhm.
So you keep them out of the sunlight. You purge them of sunlight. Dusk
Well,
is
I
about
mean,
the
it's. I mean, if you want to get Lovecraftian with it, they are portals into the abyss. You
yeah.
know?
Well, they are portals. It's just
Yeah.
not necessarily into the abyss, but it's portals.
Well,
And
yeah.
using some advanced work, some advanced techniques, you can connect them to spots and
Hmm.
places and
Yeah.
things
Spots and places
and things.
and things.
Yeah. And it forms a portal because it's not like a window, it's more of a hole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I actually explained it to a client not too long ago that, when you watch the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit,
Yep.
and they throw the black hole onto the
Yep.
wall, and that's essentially what it is, spiritually speaking.
Yep. I say about the same thing, only instead of Roger Rabbit, I use Bugs Bunny.
There
How they
you
pick
go.
the hole up and they carry it around.
Yep.
And at night when the moon's bright and you pick one of those up, it feels just like the same damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a feeling to get used to when you're walking around outside with one in your hand. It's a feeling to get used to, and sometimes it's kind of fun watching people that are helping me make them, and it starts opening up and they go like, oh my God.
But
Yeah.
you also offer spiritual services,
A
and
little bit.
a,
Um
a little
Not
bit,
I do the group one.
a little bit. A little bit. A little bit. Come
Okay,
on, man.
I do the group ones, and I'm very selective on which ones I'll do for other people. I do some, yes.
Your group rituals are, I mean, one of the reasons I haven't started doing my own group rituals is because I don't feel the fucking need to.
Yeah.
Because yours are already there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'd almost rather send, hey, you know, I mean, I can do the same shit he's doing, but he's already doing it and he's doing it top notch.
One thing that I noticed
We'll talk to that man.
One of the things I noticed is kind of means that I'm doing good is I can post my group rituals and then I can watch online and see other people. Oh, I'm doing a group ritual like this at the same time. And it's like, okay, yeah, join it, do it, whatever. But that just means that I'm in line. I'm doing what's needed at the time, and others are picking up on that.
Yeah, I mean,
am I going to say that mine are going to affect everyone all the time? I'd be lying if I said, because
I mean, that's
only a scammer would say that.
That's only a scammer would say that. I mean,
yeah.
in the conjure world, you're only you're only guaranteed one thing in life, and that's it's going to end. You know, that's the only guarantee you're given.
Yeah. Well, my guarantee is if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. Because if I say I'm going to do it and the effects come out, then that means if the cause has to come from somewhere, there has to be a balance. And if I didn't do that ritual, it's coming out of me.
Yeah.
The spirit's gonna take it out. So if I say I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Whether
and people don't realize that when it comes to, and that's a deep dive on magic, regardless of whatever your tradition is. That's a deep dive, whether you're a Catholic priest or a Hugon or a chaos magician or whatever the case is. If I make that contract with you, if we make that contract and I say I'm going to do this and I don't do it, that gets taken out of my ass. That's a pound of flesh I have to pay.
Yep. And you don't get to pick how it comes out or how much.
You don't. A penny for a pound for a penny.
Yeah. And spirit likes dividends. They like extra.
And interest.
They
love interest.
And tax. And tax. And anything else. Yeah.
So
it works both ways, going out but also coming in.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. And when you come into the new age and the modern age, social media and all that, it's all about the pictures. It's all about, you know, what you can show and all of that. And,
you know, it doesn't always look like something. It's like you can do a big ritual and it looks like a candle.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to look like all this other fuckery.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a candle that's so overloaded that you have to try and feel around to find a wick. Or ones that when you light it, it goes up like a torch and then it just oozes all over the place. It's like, here, can you read this? It's like burnt table. That's what I see. I see a fire hazard. It's good that you burned it on that styrofoam plate though, you know, because that really helped.
Well, my great grandmother actually used to say that never trust a fortune teller that can see. You know, like the only fortune teller you could trust was a blind fortune teller, because they had to give up their sight in order to see the future. And
there's always a price that you've paid, and no sane person would willingly pay that price before knowing, because like you can ask yourself, what have you gone through, what have you paid to get to be what you are, and would you willingly pay that? And it's no, I wouldn't willingly pay it, but I would do it again.
For those of us upon the path, I mean, For example, I mean, if you're a Catholic priest, there's a whole lot of shit you got to give up in order to be a Catholic priest.
Yeah.
There's shit I wouldn't give up to be a Catholic priest.
I like some of that shit.
Right? You know, I mean, I'm down with fornication. I'm down with, you know, certain sins.
Yeah.
I'm willing to accept the cost of those things.
Oh yeah.
But it is a thing. I mean, it does, because when you're walking on the path, whether you're making wands, whether you're doing group rituals, whether you're doing conjure, whether you're a
You pay a
chaos
price for the
magician,
power you have.
yeah, whether you're a Buddhist priest, well, whatever your spiritual alignment is, you're expending your own energy.
Yeah.
Along with
Some of that price is the price that spirit takes as admission to being part. And as we said before, spirit likes dividends and taxes and extras. And it doesn't care whether you wanted to keep that. Like, I would have loved to have been popular in school. That carried over to, I'm comfortable being on the fringe. I'm being that one on the edge of the village they come to and they say, hey, can you do this? And it's like, yeah.
Well, it's a real witch.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's an overused phrase these days. Everybody wants to know, like,
Oh yeah.
you know, you're not a real witch unless blah 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 blah. But when you look at the historical
you need a
context,
degree. You need a degree. You need a piece of paper that says you're a witch. And it's like, no, you need the spirits to say, yes, you are. You need to walk the right way where all the things go, yes, you are. I don't give a shit if somebody says, hey, I got a piece of paper that says I'm a witch and you don't. And it's like, yeah. But you know, if something starts coming over, if it starts hopscotching across the lake, you're gonna cut and run. I'm gonna stand there.
Excellent, brother. Now.
Oh shit.
If people are looking for you, where can they go?
Grey Hedge at Etsy.com or Grey Hedge on Facebook, Grey Hedge 1 on Instagram, or just my name straight out. John Spietaels on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter.
Well, brother, it was great to speak to you. It was great to see you. It's been a long time in coming. You're one of my favorite people. I'm a huge fan of your work. You know, John Spietaels at Grey Hedge. Get over and see what this man is doing. He's got great work going on. Saints and sinners, thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. If you want to see more wicked content, please like, subscribe, and share. And if you want to support us further, you can go over to Wicked House on Patreon and subscribe. Get bonus features, exclusive content, live interviews, Q&As, the whole works. We at the Wicked House appreciate your support. Cheers.